How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for tuning in all the way from Singapore for this.
No problem, pleasure.
And as you know, this is just, an initiative to help fellow entrepreneurs or professionals really understand what everyone else is going through and how they're really dealing with this crisis situation that we all find ourselves in, right? So, as the head of private labels for Redmart, right, which
Yeah.
is now, of course, I'm sure has picked up since this virus hit. I want to understand more about about the business and how it has reacted to this crisis, and also how what were the first three things that you guys did for the business.
So what happened was Singapore went to Code Orange about a month, almost 2 months ago now. So on the 8th of February, we went to Code Orange, and that's when we first saw the impact of this, and we had massive panic buying across the platform. So
Oh, wow.
and it was completely unprecedented. Just to give you an idea, that's probably um, a sale of more than 3 days. They were just hoarding. So what we had to do three things we had to do was maintain and ensure that we had continuity of supply. The second thing we had to do was also ensure servicing the customers, so maintaining our quality of service. And the third thing we wanted to do and wanted to make sure, in fact, that's the number one thing, is how we can service the community better. So, for example, some of the things that have come as a consequence of this is, how we can get some of our frontline workers in Singapore, how we can ensure that there are some slots reserved for them, so they are able to get their groceries delivered home without having to wait or constantly having to go on the site to check if there's delivery available.
Okay, so during that time when you had that surge, right, how did the portal really manage? Because so many, it's an equivalent of, say, a big basket here, in India. So how did a portal like yours manage that, and did you preempt it? And also, when it comes to private labels specifically, right, did you plan for the inventory, or were you sitting on inventory? How did you service those kind of orders in that period of time?
Okay, so a couple of things we not. So the first surge that happened 2 months ago, we had no idea that it was going to generate this kind of panic buying. Since then, obviously, we've got smarter, and we know that every time there's going to be a speech by the prime minister or something, that we are going to see this kind of surge. So we've learned from our experiences from the first time round. So
Okay.
we did see a huge rise in demand, but we were able to fulfill it. But also some of the things what you mentioned in terms of the website crashing, etc., although our website didn't crash, we only release order slots for 7 days in advance. On top of it, what also happened was, because we have a feature called order amend, what that does is that it allows you to add more products to your existing basket which you've checked out. And we basically, what that meant was customers were basically trying to hoard more and more and add more to their existing orders. So then we had to actually disable that. So we had to kind of take away certain features that we had for customers at that time in order to kind of somehow normalize the demand in that period.
Right, that makes a lot of sense actually. So tell me, as a merchandiser and also, as somebody who looks at launching newer products under private labels and constantly
Yeah.
looking to innovate, were there any learnings there in terms of product categories, in terms of uh, has there been any shift in perspective for you since then?
I think it's very early to call as to what will happen. One of the key things that we think will happen is adoptability of online grocery, which there were a lot of people who were very skeptical, who still wanted to go to the shop and do their shopping. They didn't trust the products, etc. So we've kind of, in one fell sweep, we've kind of removed a lot of those barriers, and we've had obviously a lot of new customers who've come to us because they don't want to go outside, etc., etc. So that barrier to entry has been lowered and almost removed. So
Right.
hopefully what will happen is that if we've provided them a good enough experience, that they will come back and they will continue buying from us. The other thing that we've seen is also customers buying fresh. So fresh fruits and vegetables and dairy, etc., etc. That was something, again, which we were working very hard to kind of get customers on board to buy fresh produce, etc. And they weren't willing to buy it because, again, you have the whole thing about, I want to be able to touch it, feel it. Nobody else can do such a good job.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, in this scenario, you don't want to buy something that has been touched by 50 other people. You
True.
want that touch.
True. So
Right?
it has been in that sense, it has helped the e-commerce industry and especially the groceries industry online. Definitely.
Exactly. Absolutely. So those are the things. So hopefully what will happen is, in the coming months, I would think, is that our fresh penetration in terms of customers buying more fresh and chilled products, etc., will go up. I also think one of the things that will happen is, because we know there's a recession coming, it's inevitable, and because of that we will see customers buying, moving to private labels, because they'll become more price conscious, and usually private label is the cheaper alternative in a lot of cases, without actually compromising on quality. So hopefully that will all increase more adaptability of private label as well.
Actually, that's a very interesting point you made, because it is actually quite debatable, price versus branding, isn't it? Like, is it that customers after this will rely more on brands and trustworthy, offerings, or look at pricing as a factor and look at private labels, right? So I think this period of trial will certainly help private labels, right?
I think so. I think, I'm not sure how much it will help right now, but certainly in the longer term it will, because right now, you see, in a way, customers are so desperate to get whatever they can buy, they are less price conscious at this time,
Hmm.
right? The online grocery customer.
Certainly. Yeah.
So they are less, whatever is available. If it's private label, they'll buy private label, but if it's a branded good where they have to pay, you know a few extra bucks, they will be willing to pay it because they want to get the product. But come, you, 2 months or 3 months down the road, I think that will change, because that's when people will really start to feel the pinch. That's when they will be able to see the availability, and all of that will normalize, and they'll be able to buy. They'll make those decisions then based on price rather than just what's available.
Oh, okay. So tell me, in the next 6 months, what is it that you guys see, as a roadmap? And just for people who are watching, who are in this industry of e-commerce and groceries, or just e-commerce in general, right? What,
Yeah.
according to you, would be the steps for your business and the company? And of course, what are the key challenges that still remain, even though you have seen a surge? Of course, there are so many industries that have seen the opposite, right? They
Yeah.
are suffering, and of course we will interview those guys as well to understand their perspective and how they are coping with this. But even for you guys, being in the situation of demand due to essential services category, I'm sure there are some challenges that you are still facing. And what is it that you see in the next 6 months as a roadmap? Any three things that you could list out for us?
Yeah. So for us, the biggest challenge right now remains availability. You see, because obviously Singapore is
Sourcing.
an island. Sourcing, well, yeah, sourcing and availability of the existing products as well. So because Singapore is an island, 80% of the stuff that is being sold is all being sourced from outside. So be it Malaysia, be it Australia, China, wherever it is. And because of the current situation, a lot of it is like a lot of the fresh produce etc is all flown in, etc, and all that has stopped. So you see now the air freights have gone up tremendously, and what that has done is again created a price hike where actually the cost of the product hasn't gone up that much, but it's just the fact that all the other aspects of it have has changed, and that's creating this inflation. So
No,
that's
that's a
the
very, very valid point, because that, I never thought of that issue, because it's very localized to Singapore. Because in India you still have production locally, right? And
yeah.
we can self-sustain in that sense. So there is that huge logistical problem that you're talking about, of simply just sourcing products from outside, because the country cannot
Yeah.
produce it.
Well, the country can, yeah, exactly. And also, just in terms of all countries are now in some form of lockdown. Luckily, most of the items that we do are part of the essentials list in all the countries that we are sourcing from, so they can produce. But there are so many other steps, right? From once they've produced it, to ship it to the airport, and then to ship it from the airport to Singapore, and then all that whole supply chain is so complex, and there are not enough people available to be able to do all of that. Also, as Redmart, we've got something called specialty stores, who are vendors who sell on our platform, and who are usually SMEs. And because of the surge in demand etc, and for us, in order to service as many customers as possible, we've had to kind of stop that service right now for those suppliers to sell on our platform, because you see we do their last mile delivery as well.
Okay.
So one of the key things for us on branding has always been around Redmart Private Label basically is based on 4 pillars, which is sustainability, quality, value for money, and innovation. So those are the 4 things we'll continue to focus on, because we know that it works and customers appreciate that in terms of what we are doing. I think the focus on sustainability is going to become even more in the coming months and coming years, because what this crisis has also shown us is that you mustn't mess with mother nature.
Any learnings on a personal level, just to wrap this up?
Well, don't be too hard on yourself. We are all sometimes when you're working from home, there's so many different things we all have to juggle with, and it's okay, it's okay to spend half an hour in the day with your kids if they need you. There's nothing wrong, and make sure that you are looking after yourself, because all said and done, this has kind of made everyone very tense and stressed, and if we don't look after ourselves, we are going to come out worse. Maybe not health wise we might escape it, but overall it might have an impact. So yeah, look after yourselves.
Thank you so much, Nupur, for talking to me. And
Pleasure.
I wish you and the family all the very best. And please say hi to them from my side.
I will.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Bye.